Now that you have a PhenomeCentral account, you are ready to start entering patient information. Begin by clicking Create on the top right of your PhenomeCentral homepage and select New Patient. This will bring you to the patient consent page. Here, you must check the appropriate consents for your patient. Click the Update button to update your patient's consent information and move to your patient's PhenomeCentral entry. Through the patient's PhenomeCentral entry, you are able to enter de-identified phenotypic, family history, and genetic information for your patient. The only information that will be used for matching your patient to others is the entered phenotypic and genetic information. You can start by entering a unique identifier for your patient. You can also enter the patient's month and year of birth, sex, age of onset, and suspected mode of inheritance. You have the option of including additional information on the patient's family, prenatal, perinatal, and medical history, as well as any measurements. These are not required for matching your patient to others in PhenomeCentral or across the Matchmaker exchange. Next, scroll to and click on the Clinical Symptoms and Physical Findings section. This will expand the section and allow you to enter human phenotype ontology-based phenotypes for your patient. One way to enter phenotypes for your patient is by selecting HPO terms from the included drop-down menus. For our example patient, we are going to select some terms from the Growth Parameters menu. I am going to click Yes for decreased body weight and for short stature. Then I am going to minimize this menu by clicking on the arrow on the left and expand the craniofacial menu. My patient has an abnormal facial shape, but I have decided that I want to use a more specific HPO term to describe this. To do this, I click the yellow arrow to the left of abnormal facial shape. This provides me with more options to describe my patient. You can also add more phenotypic information by entering free text in the Other box at the bottom of the craniofacial section. PhenomeCentral generates a list of HPO terms for you to choose from based on what you enter. Another way to enter phenotypes for your patient is by searching in the Quick Phenotype search bar. Again, PhenomeCentral will generate a list of HPO terms for you to choose from based on what you enter. On the right side of our screen, we can see the list of phenotypes we have selected for our patient, as well as how informative this list is. Next, we can move on to entering genetic information for our patient. Scroll down and click on Genotype Information to expand this section of the PhenomeCentral entry. Here, you can enter candidate genes and known causal genes, as well as genes you have rejected, found that the patient is a carrier of, or that the patient has tested negative for. Only candidate and causal genes will be used for matching in PhenomeCentral and across the Matchmaker exchange. For our example patient, I am going to enter the SRCAP gene and indicate that the status of this gene is confirmed causal. When you are using PhenomeCentral on your own, clicking on the arrow in the status box will generate a drop-down list to choose from. For this patient, I am also going to enter a second gene and will select candidate in the status drop-down list. Then I will click the Save and View Summary button. Now that your patient's PhenomeCentral entry has been completed and saved, you can view the summary. If you scroll to the bottom of this page, you can see a list of the other patient entries within PhenomeCentral that your patient has matched to, as well as how relevant these matches are. To further explore the phenotype and genotype similarity between your patient and another patient in this list, click the Show button on the right side of the list. Now, we can see what our patient and other patients have in common. On this screen, we can explore what is phenotypically similar and what is phenotypically different between our patient and each of the suggested similar cases. We can also see that the suggested case has SRCAP entered as a possible cause for their patient's phenotype. If you think that a suggested case is a good match, then you can contact a collaborator directly from this screen by clicking the hyperlink of your potential collaborator's name. This generates an email to send to a potential collaborator, which includes your contact information as well as information on both of the patients. It only requires that we hit send. One final step is required to make your patient matchable with the rest of the databases in the Matchmaker Exchange. For example, we can see that a match request was never sent to Decipher. Go to the Find Matches button and click it to send match requests to Decipher, and then refresh your page. Now that we have clicked the Find Matches button, we are able to see and review matches for our patient from the Decipher database. You will need to press the Find Matches button for each of the databases in the Matchmaker Exchange separately.